Good evening. This is Maestro with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today, we have a full Best-of-5 Faction War series between the Eldar and the Space Marines. Our first map will be on Sto Province, and our first player is going to be Slasher, otherwise possibly known as Sabor, playing as the teleporting Warp Spider Sark. Ranged commander, good at harassment. Next up, it's going to be Sir Gunter, the Kaiser, playing as the Warlock. Warlock is a melee hero, can be a tank or a spellcaster, depending on his war gear. And finally, our Eldar players will be rounded out by Inekura, playing as the Farseer. Farseer is a spellcasting, buffing, and healing commander for the Eldar. Meanwhile, let's move on to our Space Marines. We're going to start off with MareeeSty, playing as the Force Commander, who buffs and disrupts with Battlecry. Next up, it's going to be MammothMKII. He's going to be playing as the Tech Marine, Space Marine ranged hero with a gun for every occasion and the ability to repair vehicles. And finally, we're going to have Jimbo Rustlez playing as the Apothecary, healing Space Marine commander, targeted heal, and a passive health regeneration aura. Alright then, this is our first Faction War series from the July set of Faction Wars. Wow, Warlock there actually getting really close to going down. Goes down to 7 hit points. All those numbers just seeming the same to me. Alright, Tactical Marines, they're moving up out of cover, trying to look for force melee, but they're already pretty low on health, and here comes some Howling Banshees to intercept them. Tactical Marines will have to back off. Unfortunately for them, that means they're still taking range damage while out of cover, and they will retreat. So this is looking like a one engagement for the Eldar, kind of good micromanagement of the engagements from them. However, the Shotgun Scouts upgraded right here to try to salvage the engagement. Tech Marine is really low, however, and it's going to need to be a retreat anyway because the range damage out of the Dire Avengers proves to be too much. Meanwhile, ooh, it's looking like we actually have one engagements for the Eldar in all 3 lanes, particularly more impactful in the left and right side lanes where there is power to be bashed. Power node already taken down here. Node also taken down on the other side as well. On this side, however, it does look like Jimbo Rustlez is scaring off his Eldar opponent, so at least there won't be a decap, and the renode will happen. But on this side, they won't be so lucky. Howling Banshees do succeed in getting the decap. All of this power disruption could be rough for our Space Marine players. Howling Banshees will choose to go after the Scouts, going to see if they can pull off the retreat kill, but instead they won't be able to do it. Looks like they also missed our opportunity to go for those Tactical Marines. And that does result in both of these squads of Dire Avengers being forced off the field. Meanwhile, this is certainly although we've got a double cap for our Space Marine players, but it's also a very, very clear power income advantage for our Eldar players. Full power farms on both of their natural power nodes. Meanwhile, this one, the 2 of those generators only just finishing up, and this one still has nothing. So it's definitely a power advantage for our Eldar players. This could actually be kind of a rough start for our Space Marine players. We're going to see the Mastercrafted Bolter upgraded for that Tech Marine. Generally considered a pretty strong weapon upgrade, particularly against Eldar. I think it has some uses on other races, though, such as Orcs, maybe also Tyranids. Farseer right there. No, that's the Warlock, just kidding. Trying to get into melee, but will be knocked over by the Shotgun Scouts. A grenade goes in. Doesn't look like it actually took a model off those Tactical Marines, and the Apothecary did have a heal ready for them, and that is enough to scare off the squad of Howling Banshees. Howling Banshees losing 2 models in the process. Meanwhile, Dire Avengers right here, still in cover. This time, Tactical Marines looking again for force melee, but this time they won't have Howling Banshees ready to answer them, but they will be taking a few shots from those Rangers. They've eaten 2 shots so far. The Rangers have not chosen to reposition. Now they're in close range. They will just retreat out of there. Ooh, yet more Rangers coming out of our Eldar players. 2 for Inekura. Often, Trouble Rangers is something that is pretty oppressive. Rangers, in general, pretty strong against Space Marines. Pretty effective against pretty much all of the Space Marine squads, particularly the Scouts, then the Tacs. A little bit less so against the Assault Marines, but they're still not bad at all against the Assault Marines with good positioning. And I'm actually sure there are plenty of people who would argue that with good positioning, Rangers are actually quite good against Assault Marines. But at the same time, Assault Marines are supposed to be one of the answers to Rangers. So, yeah, a lot of Rangers out on the field. You might also be wondering, yeah, I mean, if Eldar are going to use snipers, why don't our Space Marine players use snipers? And in a past set of Faction Wars, we actually have seen that. However, generally speaking, the Eldar snipers are honestly just a bit better. They actually have longer range than the Scout snipers. They have a higher rate of fire. Oh, wow, Scout Squad taken down right there. We're also going to see this Apothecary go down as well. And, oh my god, look at this. Sabor, or Slasher, whoever he is already getting a Falcon. He's in Tier 2. Grenade will go in on those Scouts, take down another model. He's already in Tier 2. In part because he went for, he really fast-teched. He actually spent no power at all in Tier 1. He didn't get any aspects. He didn't get any upgrades on the Warp Spider Exarch. He also didn't get a Tier 1.5 squad, so he fast-teched. Not even his teammates are in Tier 2, and he's already building a Falcon. It's going to be out on the field now. This is it. This is a Falcon. It has no answers. And it's going to be a while before our Space Marine players get into Tier 2. Howling Banshees chasing after the tanks. They do pick up one model. Assault Marines are here, however, so are the Shotgun Scouts. Shotgun Scouts will knock the Howling Banshees back. So that will be the Howling Banshees retreating. Assault Marine's going to jump in. They will manage to get the jump in on both the Dire Avengers and the Rangers, so that is a pretty good jump for them. Instant retreat before they can even get knocked down. Oh, there's going to be a lot of range fire coming right here. Double tacks, upgraded Scouts. Meanwhile, down here, however, the Falcon is making itself known. Assault Marine's jumping. Where are you even jumping? Like, there's nothing that MareeeSty can do against these. Oh my god, he's got double Assault Marines here. But there's nothing he can do against this Falcon. Like, there's really literally nothing. Oh, looks like he lost a Scout Squad at some point. Because, first of all, he's in Tier 1. He has no answer against the Falcon. Oh, is the Force Commander going to go down? The Assault Marines don't chase him. Like, he has no damage against the Falcon. And the thing is, particularly with the Falcon, if you don't have anything to threaten the Falcon, then not only can you not fight the Falcon, but you pretty much can't fight Slasher's entire army. If you try to fight the entire army, they'll just get reinforced by the Falcon, and if they want, they can also just get inside the Falcon. Oh my god, what is this lone Assault Marine hero doing? This is literally only one model engaging the Dire Avengers. He's trying to do some damage, but he will just get finished off, and, well, he died for the chapter. So we don't have Falcons or Wraith Lords out from our other Eldar players, but nevertheless, Rangers are doing some work. Tactical Marines will get knocked down. Grenade will be thrown. It was an attempted kinetic pulse into a grenade combo, but it was mistimed, so it didn't actually work. Meanwhile, these Tactical Marines, they're already just so low on hit points. Dire Avengers will just fleet of foot away, the courtesy, or rather the convenience, of having the aspect. And finally, a model does go down from the Rangers, and oh my god, it's actually so rough right now for our Space Marine players, despite the fact that they have the victory point lead. They may have the victory point lead, but honestly, our Space Marine players are not winning this game. Double Rangers about to get jumped on by Assault Marines. One of them will actually get knocked down. The other one does just retreat. And, oh, the Rangers. Wow, they retreat far too late. They let themselves get knocked down, and Inekura will lose one of his Ranger squads. Meanwhile, Tactical Marines taking some damage on the other side from the Dire Avengers as well as the Rangers. The Rangers actually just doing so much work. There's just so little that the Tactical Marines and the Scouts can really do about that. Meanwhile, this Falcon still just absolutely going to town. MareeeSty, there's just nothing he can do about it. Like, if this game even lasts long enough when he gets to Tier 2, like, I think he literally needs to just get a missile launcher just to make this Falcon play with a little bit more respect. Meanwhile, it looks like we have another one engagement for our Eldar players. Inekura scaring... Is that Jimbo Rustlez? Yeah, scaring him off. Assault Marine's trying to come in, so are the Tacs, but they're already not even at full health. MareeeSty trying to engage the Falcon, but he can't. He just can't. Oh my god, a Wraith Lord's coming too, and it's still from... The Wraith Lord is here from Slasher. I mean, he couldn't fight the Falcon. He absolutely can't fight both the Falcon and the Wraithlord. Like, he literally needs a missile launcher. And the sad thing about a missile launcher is that it's not enough. The missile launcher is not enough at all. But he needs it just to, like, make Slasher play with a little more respect. Or maybe actually MareeeSty gets a Lascannon Devastator. Yeah, that might actually be a better idea. Anyway, Scout's going to be forced off here. Tactical Marines in melee with the Howling Banshees. Howling Banshees will need to retreat. Grenade goes in. I think it hit more Eldar units than it did Space Marine units. Meanwhile, Tactical Marines, particularly the Stern Guard veterans, are doing quite a bit of job to help the Space Marines salvage this engagement. Autark going to be called in, though. Autark Grenade does catch on the tac squad here. They will get stunned and they will be forced off. The Stern Guard veterans are here, but they are going to get overwhelmed. In fact, so overwhelmed that will be a concede, and that will be game number 1 going in favor of our Eldar players. Game number 2 of our Best-of-5 Faction Wars series will be taking place on Grey Sark, Undercity. Our first player, Slasher, otherwise possibly known as Sabor, will be playing as the Farseer this time. Floid, going to be stepping in place of Inekura, of all people. Floid, normally a Tyranid main, and he'll be playing as the Warp Spider Exarch today. And finally, it's going to be Sir Gunter, the Kaiser, playing as that Warlock. Their opponents, our Space Marine players, MammothMKII will be on the Force Commander this time. MareeeSty will be playing as the Apothecary, and it's going to be Jimbo Rustlez playing as that Tech Marine. So, let's see what our Space Marine players can do to come back into this series. Tech Marine moving to the bottom, probably just looking for that contested power point. Meanwhile, we are going to see some Scouts targeting the Farseer. Scouts targeting the Farseer, so some of her health is already being burned down. Already lost about 25% of her hit points. Dire Avengers also focusing a bit on the Force Commander, and they inflict about as much in return. Meanwhile, down here, we're going to see our Warp Spider Exarch in cover, tanking damage from those Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines can actually tank a lot of damage in that position for a pretty long time when they're supported by the health regeneration aura, but now the Apothecary has moved away. Warlock is pretty low on hit points, but man, this is a lot of Dire Avengers. This is quad Dire Avengers. Well, 2 from 2 different players, because 2 times 2 equals 4. Some Dire Avengers just getting into cover right here. We'll see if they can maybe overwhelm those Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines need to see if they can meet this with, like, equal squads, because I think the Tactical Marines actually have what they need to win this fight here as long as they manage it correctly. They've got a Shotgun Blast ready for the Howling Banshees. They've got a... Oh, no, they might not have 2 Shotgun Blasts, though, because we've got 2 squads of Howling Banshees, and 1 squad of Tactical Marines ends up taking far too much damage. The other squad of Howling Banshees gets into range, and this is now not looking so good for our Space Marine player right here. Oh, no. Howling Banshees actually wiped the Scouts from MareeeSty. Rough starts. All right, Tactical Marines, meanwhile, might look for force melee, but they got to be careful for grenades. Defensive grenade. Mammoth tried to dodge it, but unfortunately they were still caught. And this is it's still looking like a rough start for our Space Marine players. We had 2 Scout squads already killed. I'd say the silver lining compared to past series is that the Space Marine players have done a better job of getting their power income online a little bit earlier in this game. They're still behind our Eldar players who have 2 full power farms, whereas our Space Marine players, they don't have, neither one of their power farms are full. Neat to see some of our Space Marine players, I think, drop some of those power generators. But at the same time, I don't know. They might be trying to save for some squads. We're going to see some Devastator Marines coming out for Mammoth. The Mastercrafted Bolter's also going to be picked up by Jimbo Rustlez.
The foe seeks to deprive us of a vital resource point.
Come, show me what passes for fury among your mis...
This Tech Marine just trying to see what models he can pick off at ranged. Howling Banshee's looking to get into melee. If he's got the high-powered shot, he needs to just use it. Doesn't look like he has it, because not wanting to use it is not a... Yeah, I don't like that retreat unless he just didn't have high-powered shot ready. If he did have high-powered shot ready, I think he just needed to use it and then move back, regroup with the rest of his army. Howling Banshees will just barely get into... Not even just barely. They straight up, they get into range with the Devastator Marines. Devastator Marines tried to set up, but they set up too late, and the Howling Banshees were able to get around their firing arc. In fact, even if they hadn't gotten around the firing arc, there was also a grenade in the face of those Devastator Marines, so ultimately it was just those Devastator Marines did not set up early enough. We're going to see these units from Mammoth kind of going into hiding. Seeing if maybe they can help with a counterattack, though, against the generators that's being launched here by Slasher. Howling Banshee is going to be targeting the generators. Dire Avengers targeting the node. Force Commander will be going for the Dire Avengers, while the... That's actually... Oh! The Force Commander, yeah, he needs to tie up the Guardian Weapon Team. As long as he does that, that's a one engagement for Mammoth right here. He was kind of distracted by something else, but then realized what the correct target was. One squad of Howling Banshees here actually at pretty low hit points. In fact, this is Floid all around. All of his squads are pretty low. He's going to actually have a lot of trouble staying and fighting this. There is a Guardian Weapon Team set up here from Floid, but it's not in the correct spot. But what's nice grenades going in on those Assault Marines, taking out 2 of the 3 models. Warp Spider Exarch goes for Force Melee, but he's not enough to finish an Assault Marine model right there. Warlock is pretty low in retreat. 23 hit points. I don't think he'll go down. Just kidding, he will. That Force Commander gets that last Chainsword swing in, and that will prove to be enough.
The teammate's Warlock has been revived.
Dire Avengers moving forward. They have found a decent target in this half-health squad of Tactical Marines, but they'll lose a model first, and heal will come in for the Tactical Marines. Meanwhile, the Guardian Weapon Team has been suppressed. I think it was targeted by the high-powered shot. Oh my god, though. We'll talk about suppression. Tactical Marines suppressed and then hit by a Plasma Grenade. Another Plasma Grenade goes in on that Tech Marine, but he does have enough health to just tank it. Inevitably, it will be a retreat here, though. Warp Spider Exarch continuing to teleport forward. Going to be looking for probably a decap on the natural victory point. Meanwhile, up here, let's take a look at this fight between Slasher as well as MammothMKII. MammothMKII, man, he doesn't have much of an answer to this. Right now, he's just tanking the suppression. Yeah, this is honestly looking pretty rough for him. I mean, at this point, okay, he's going to get some Assault Marine support from MareeeSty, which is honestly exactly what he needed. I was going to say, I feel like the composition from Mammoth is not working out that well, and I wanted to see Mammoth pick up one of 2 things, either an Assault Marine squad or the Chainsword and Storm Shield for the Force Commander. Because his army is too small, his approach is too linear to adequately deal with that Guardian Weapon Team once he walks into it. Oh no, Howling Banshee's getting into melee with the Tactical Marines. Shotgun Blast, I don't think ready from the Scouts, so it will just be a retreat. And this is continued damage pressure put on the generators. So this is definitely a far better game for our Space Marine players than last game. In fact, they've got the VP lead again, but I'm still a little bit concerned about the power bashing. The Eldar have definitely had the better end of power bash, but this might be a kill. All right, then. That is a nice win for our Space Marine players, picking up that kill on that Guardian Weapon Team. Plasma Grenade goes in. No extra grenade. Shotgun Blast might be ready soon, though. just in case they need to defend against the Howling Banshees. But the Howling Banshees realize that they are isolated, and it's to their benefit to not engage there. Meanwhile, down here, Razorback, I don't know why I was zoomed in so close. Razorback is out here for Jimbo Rustlez. So the tech, definitely not a massive tech advantage for the Eldar players like it was in the last game. We definitely have a game where our Space Marine players are much more in a position to fight back. This Razorback right now is actually a great purchase. I mean, you know, we saw how effective the Falcon was, so basically, yeah, I mean, transports in general are pretty strong. More so in 1v1. Still, there's definitely still are effective in team games, but sometimes can just be quite hard to keep a transport alive if you've got multiple players trying to target your vehicles with AV. We do see one of those models kind of bugging out inside. I believe it's the Tech Marine, because probably no other model has that like servo arm sticking up high like that. Anyway, oh, this is looking good for our Eldar players. Shotgun Scouts though coming in here to support, and this is definitely what Mammoth needs right here to get those Howling Banshees off his back, to create some space. But oh no, here is the double from Slasher. He calls the double. He will retreat them out of there. Possible grenade on retreat, but I don't think we're going to see any squad wipes. It's a close call though. Oh my god, that was actually... Oh, we did not see the squad wipes, but I think that was 3 models killed in total. I think 2 of the Tacks and 1 of the Devastators. So it was still a very nice grenade. So this is going to be a clear win for our Eldar players, or is it? The counterattack is already here from MareeeSty, jumping in his Assault Marines. He needs a heal, though, on those Assault Marines. They're so low already. They're so close to going down. The heal finally comes in, but it comes in just a little bit too late. Might not have had it ready in time. Guardian Weapon Team is going to go down, though. So big losses actually suffered here. Not sluffered, suffered here by Slasher. More grenades going to go in. All right, so our Space Marine players will hold at the moment on the bottom. Didn't take a look at it, but I'm pretty sure our Space Marine players tried to do something on the bottom. Well, our single Space Marine player is going to be Jimbo Rustlez down here. However, he's going to have to retreat away from the Falcons. We have dueling transports. Unfortunately for the Space Marines, dueling transports is kind of an advantage in favor of the Eldar, because their transport actually does anti-vehicle damage. However, I think there's some kind of bug where it doesn't really do damage. Something like if there's a unit inside the Razorback, or maybe it's a unit inside the Falcon, that it doesn't do damage when it should. So it's kind of a bug. Fix, please. Meanwhile, up here, Dark Reapers are getting overwhelmed. Dark Reapers need to get out of here before they are wiped entirely. Slasher has just entirely lost track. Actually, those belong to Floid, I think. That was a little bit confusing, so those Dark Reapers will just be gone. We are going to see weapon upgrades out of this Force Commander. He's chosen to get the Thunderhammer, wants that area of effect disruption against the Howling Banshees. Actually goes a really long way to making life hard for the Howling Banshees. Meanwhile, down here, Space Marines. Oh, I see. They're defending against the Eldar attack from the webway. The Eldar actually heavily focused, more so just on the generator. Pretty much just ignoring the Razorback, willing to tank the damage. Oh, but a grenade goes in on the Dark Reapers. The Dark Reapers might go down here. The Dark Reapers are actually in so much trouble. If anything, I feel like the Razorback should chase, and they actually succeed in killing the Dark Reaper, so that's another Dark Reaper squad down. The Dire Avengers, meanwhile, yeah, they can't just focus on the Razorback. That is not going to go well for them. They will go back to concentrating on the generator. At this point in the game, I'm not sure how worth it this is to just trade the models for the generators. Our Space Marine players actually have a lot of requisition in the bank that they can rebuy generators. And it's our Eldar players who are kind of just giving up the requisition from the models. At least this one squad did not lose. Well, actually only lost 1 model. The other squad lost 3, however. All right, we're going to see Tier 3 for many of our players. Slasher already there, but having a much rougher game this time than last game. Force Commander will teleport in. Just the old classic teleport in with the Thunderhammer and activate Battlecry combo. You just immediately start getting the disruption. Actually, I'm not even sure. I don't think he actually activated Battlecry. I think he actually just procced a special attack. Webway Gate will be taken down. Meanwhile, the Falcon's still moving around. This Falcon out of Sir Gunter the Kaiser. Meanwhile, the Razorback also doing things as well, focusing on these Dire Avengers. Oh, the Falcon, what happened? The Falcon was caught, and it was taken out. Assault Marines jumping in, as well as Las Cannon Devastator targeting it, and that is one dead Falcon. Yeah, I mean, this game, our Eldar players not doing quite as well. A lot of rather surprising squad losses, and that's going a long way to keeping this pretty even. I mean, if anything, we might now say that it's not so even because our Space Marine players have a significant victory point lead. And they've weathered the storm long enough that the power bashes are not going to be as impactful as they could be early game. Distortion field, I believe, on the Howling Banshees right here as they try to engage, but they are going to find themselves in melee with the Force Commander. Dire Avengers, and oh my god, that's so many grenades going in. So many grenades going in. One Scout Squad just barely makes it out of there alive. Razorback's still here. This one from Mammoth. And Terminators are going to be called out onto the field as well. Terminators going to do a great job at the moment. They mostly have to worry. The Terminators at this point are really, really strong. They mostly have to worry about making sure that the Howling Banshees don't get in range with them. But they will absolutely tear the Dire Avengers apart. And when they are at range, they will also tear the Howling Banshees apart. Just need to make sure the Howling Banshees don't get into melee with them. Autark comes in. Autark, I'm not 100% sold on the Autark. Certainly not great against the Terminators. Not terrible, but not great. Meanwhile, down here, we're seeing Jimbo Rustlez still trying to make things happen with this Razorback. Does he have units inside? Doesn't look like the Tech Marines inside, but he must... Yeah, he's got both TAC squads inside of the Razorback. They'll get out. They both have missile launchers, probably just from a time when they were trying to take care of the Falcon. A Fire Prism now going to be out here from Floid. This Fire Prism can target the Razorback at long range. At the same time, though, with the Razorback, yeah. At the same time, though, the Razorback is one of the potential answers to the Falcon. If the Razorback can get healed up or repaired, it can afford to kind of drive forward, tank one shot. I don't know about playing this defensively, though. If anything, he needs the Tactical Marines. The Falcon is also... Not the Falcon. The Fire Prism is way too close. But I think it will be taking out the Razorback anyway. Ooh, look at the missile launcher shots, and look how much damage they did to the Falcon. I think if he had taken the missile launcher attacks out sooner and actually put some threat on the Falcon when that Falcon got... Not the Falcon, God, the Fire Prism. When the Fire Prism got way too close, I think he could have destroyed it. Grenade goes in. Oh, wow. Still actually picking up 3 models. I don't think... It wasn't Seer Council models, so it was Dire Avenger models.
An ally has gained control of a victory point.
All right, Fire Prism is disrupting the Vanguard veterans. The Vanguard veterans now out for MareeeSty. Gonna be a Cyclone missile launcher barrage going in. Big dispersal on that, though, means the Fire Prism doesn't take a huge amount of damage. We are gonna see the Predator also out here as well. Predator has no upgrades at the moment, but at the moment it also doesn't need it. Does decide to go for the extra armor. Certainly at this point, it's far more worth it to keep the standard autocannon rather than to go for the las cannon. We're going to see it call in right here. It's going to be regular Terminators. It's not the best moment to call them in. Yeah, they need to immediately teleport back. And even now, they can be engaged on by the Seer Council. Yeah, that was not a great time to call in the Terminators. All right, luckily for them, they're still close enough to base that they can walk back. But, we see that the way that they were called in there did not help them win that engagement. They were literally backed off all the way into their base. Meanwhile, this is not a great retreat path right here for Slasher. I think just based on the relative tankiness of the Seer Council, he probably won't lose a model. But that was still a little bit scary. Looks like we're going to have more Seer Council. In fact, every single Eldar player does have Seer Council.
We do what we must.
Meanwhile, advanced healing is coming in from the Apothecary on the Vanguard veterans, but they only have 3 models. This is still okay. They managed to scare off the Dire Avengers. Another squad and the Seer Council are also gone. The Vanguard veteran's not going to do that great against the Fire Prism. In fact, there's not a whole lot to threaten the Fire Prism, even though the Fire Prism should not be this close. The only thing is the Cyclone Missile Launcher barrage, but again, as we can see that it is dodged, the spread on it doesn't make it too reliable for taking out the Fire Prism. But we are seeing that Slasher continuing to push back. I don't even think Slasher's the one who's normally in this lane. They might have made a full-on lane switch, just deciding that maybe Slasher can better handle Jimmy Rustlez. But here is a flank, though, from Mammoth's Predator. It's also going to be another call-in. It's going to be some more Assault Terminators. These going to be, well, the only squad of Assault Terminators, actually. These coming out of Mammoth because he's the only one who can get Assault Terminators. Farseer in melee with the Terminators. She can't win this. We see that she's losing health. What is even happening here? I don't know if maybe just lost track of his micro. This, like, Slasher was the MVP of the last game, I would say, but this was not his game. This was absolutely not his game. I mean, Mark Target was on that Farseer. She was surrounded by Terminators, and although those were ranged Terminators, they're actually quite good in melee. They do something like 30 and change DPS heavy melee. So that means as a squad, even ranged Terminators will do about 100 melee DPS. And since it's heavy melee, it also has no penalty against the commander armor of the Farseer. The Farseer never stood a chance in that fight. Fire Prism shot goes in, knocks over the Devastator Marine squad, which is pretty much what the Fire Prism needs to be doing. Advanced healing will go in, however. Trying to keep that Devastator Marine squad topped up. Now the Vanguard veterans will jump in. We've got both a Razorback and a Predator firing on the Space Marine side. It's so much range damage coming in. We're seeing the Spirit Stones come in from the Farseer, but she'll need to retreat. It's the Seer Council who are still in here, taking advantage of that heal. They will try to wipe the Las Cannon Devastator. That does make things certainly a lot safer for any vehicles from the Eldar. But overall, it's looking like a one fight for the Space Marines, even with the wipe on that Las Cannon Devastator. Dire Avengers trying to get the cap. Instead, they will pay for it with their lives, and they won't even get it as they are finished off by the Vanguard veterans, who will resume the cap. Fire Prism may disrupt the Vanguard veterans, but the Terminators could just get on the victory point. Terminator's going to move forward, though. Is this an Eldritch? This is an Eldritch. I mean, this is an Eldritch to just try to keep them in the game. Fire Prism now needs to move back because of the way the Terminators are chasing after it. The Fire Prism needs to keep moving back. The Terminators should not really be able to keep pace with it. They would have to use their teleport to continue their pursuit. Howling Banshee is going to get into melee with the Terminators. No, they will ignore the Terminators because they have to go for the Apothecary who's trying to capture the point. We're going to see some Seer Council. The Seer Council get in melee with the Terminators, however, to try to force them off. They don't have their teleport for the time being, but a lot of support is coming in for the Space Marines. The Assault Terminators are here. There's going to be some disruption going in on the Dire Avengers. Probably a Space Marine Scout Grenade. Double grenades going in. It'll do some decent damage against the Terminators, but it won't move them off the point, which is the real big problem right now. The Seer Council trying to do what they can, and they're the best source of damage that the Eldar are going to get, but I don't know if it'll be in time. Double Seer Council now focusing on the Assault Terminators, who finished the cap anyway, and maybe they can even teleport out of there. No, they're committing to the fight. One Predator is down, and our Eldar players will actually manage to have enough time to get the decap and stay in this game. Oh, another Predator is taken down, sniped by that Fire Prism from Sir Gunter at long range. Seer Council, as good as they are, pretty much when any unit has marked target put on it by the Tech Marine, it needs to disengage. Like 9 times out of 10, if you have a marked target put on one of your squads, you need to disengage with that squad. Doesn't necessarily have to be a full retreat if you can pull it back far enough. Ooh, Eldar, what a cheeky play. Distortion Field put on the Dire Avengers. They get the decap, but even with Distortion Field, they won't be able to get the full cap. That does buy them some time. A little bit of victory point pressure going in their favor. Not a whole lot, but at this point, they're going to take everything that they can get. I'm just really wondering if that was actually worth the red that was spent, as well as the models. Autark is called in. Gonna trying to target this tactical marine squad with the missile launcher. They activate and they shall know no fear though, which means soon they will knock down the Autark if she's not careful. Up top does look like, okay, we did see scouts attempting the cap. They don't get it. However, the Banshees are forced off and the Force Commander will be getting the decap, or will he? We're going to see the Fire Prisms continue to just make it impossible for the Space Marine players to capture this point. But the Fire Prisms do need some support. That's going to be a Cyclone Missile Launcher Barrage going in with no micro on the Fire Prism that actually nearly wipes it. Oh, the Force Commander has switched the Thunderhammer for the Power Fist. This Fire Prism will die in one swing. This is it. That's the dead Fire Prism. He might be able to get the other one as well. Actually, okay, now one swing might be enough because the Vanguard veterans are here too. Yeah, the Force Commander, he only needs one swing. Oh, he doesn't get it. The Fire Prism does get the disruption on the Force Commander just in time, but eventually it is forced off or killed anyway. I'm not entirely sure what actually finished off the Fire Prism that time. All right, our Space Marine players, they have taken the natural victory. Just kidding, they've taken the contested victory point back, but they don't even have their natural. Eldar players making a push for the natural victory point of the Space Marines, but what are they going to do about this Land Raider Redeemer? This is going to be an orbital. The orbital does not catching much. Our Eldar players not really taking the bait. Oh no, but the Howling Banshees, they are going to be caught in it. That will be a wipe squad of Howling Banshees. No! I think it's not a wipe squad because I think one model was just barely outside of it. Do any of our Eldar players have an Eldritch? No, they don't. No players with an Eldritch ready against this Land Raider Redeemer, which is really just the ideal thing. They don't have enough to deal with this Land Raider Redeemer. I think they're done with this. Space Marine players will absolutely get their natural back on the strength of this Land Raider Redeemer. So they need to, Eldar players need to make a play for top like now. Otherwise this game is over. Without an Eldritch, they just don't have enough to deal with this Land Raider Redeemer. 2 Fire Prisms is not enough for it. Warp Spider X Sark. He's going to try it. He doesn't have the health to do it. Maybe if he had gotten the Shimmer Orb, he could have tanked the damage. Well, not tanked the damage. It would have stopped the damage from the Terminators, but he didn't have Shimmer Orb. All right. Yeah, I think this is game number 2 going in favor of the Space Marines. All right, indeed it is. So that will be our Space Marine players evening up this series at 1-1. Let's move on to game number 3. All right, game number 3 in our Best of 5 Faction War series is apparently going to be taken back to Sto Province. We're going to have MammothMKII. He's going to be playing as the Apothecary. Jimbo Rustlez this time will be playing as the Force Commander. And finally, for the Space Marines, MareeeSty will be playing as the Tech Marine. Their opponents, we are going to start off with Slasher playing as the Farseer. Sir Gunter will be playing as the Warlock yet again. And it's going to be Floid once again rejoining us on that Warp Spider Exarch. All right, then. Perhaps our... Maybe, I don't know. That first game on Sto Province wasn't long enough, so they decided there wasn't enough Estia in this series, so they wanted a little bit more. So we've got it again. Warlock right here capturing this contested requisition point, as we are going to see the Force Commander move forward. This is going to be our first little skirmish of this map. Force Commander just deciding to tank there, just tanking things. His face is his shield. The Disruptor goes in from the Warlock, does hit the Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines are in cover. They don't take a huge amount of damage. They will move up. We're going to move up in cover. Tactical Marines actually looking for some Force Melee, but Banshees are coming in as well. Actually, what are they looking for? Are they looking for Force Melee? They'll Force Melee the Warlock, I guess? Special attack coming in from the Force Commander. Now he has Battle Cry, I think. Yeah, actually he had Battle Cry. Warp Spider Exarch in melee with the Tech Marine, preventing the Tech Marine from shooting, which is actually something you do want to do, even though the Warp Spider Exarch is normally a ranged commander. Warp Spider Exarch does not do as much range damage as the Tech Marine out of the gate, but he's better in melee, so it is a winning trade to put him in melee, teleport in and go for melee against the Tech Marine rather than just shooting ranged. Meanwhile, down here, we are going to see our Eldar players pushing forward, kind of like in Game 1. Oh no, this is looking like Game 1 all over again. They're moving in. We have power put down already for our Eldar players. This is looking rough. The decap, is it going to happen? Well, need to get the generator down first, or rather the node down first. Meanwhile, the generators are put down. I guess really trying to get that power income going and gambling on they'll be able to defend it. Just moving forward is actually scaring off these Eldar units from even trying the decap at the moment. These units... Oh, this is Slasher again. So he's again going for the no upgrades, just kidding. This time he is switching it up. He now has the aspects. He should be able to use this to finish off the Apothecary. He does. The Scouts will use the Shotgun Blast, knocks back the Howling Banshees, but this is not enough to save the Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines need to get out of here as well. This lone Dire Avenger needs to go home, but instead he wants to capture it for the Craft World. This is actually so risky. Like, if he would get flanked here by another Space Marine player, he would absolutely lose this Dire Avenger squad. I'm actually not ruling out the possibility that that eventually happens. I think he gets out of there in time. That Dire Avenger, I think, has enough health that he won't be finished off. Yeah, but that was still... He was still really playing with fire there. Okay, it does look like Jimbo Rustlez going for that flank. He's... The flank... You know what? The flank saves a generator, which is not bad. However, Howling Banshee is going to get in here, use War Shout. They do suppress one of the Tactical Marine squads, but not the other. Range damage support going to come in from the Dire Avengers. This is going to be a winning fight for the Eldar here. Force Commander trying to get in here, but I don't know if he's really quite in time. 2 Tactical Marine models are dead. We're going to go for more. Actually, I think 3 of them were dead. Howling Banshees need to make sure they get out of there in time, though. As long as they make it out alive, that was definitely a winning trade. Oh, this is a massively winning trade for our Eldar players. Eldar players looking really, really strong once again. They've also got the double cap this time, so they're actually in a victory point lead in the early game. Quad Dire Avengers focusing down this Force Commander. Unfortunately, a few too many of them will get disrupted by the Assault Marines bunching up and going a little bit too far forward. Grenade goes in from the Dire Avengers, but it does miss the Scouts. Another set of grenade goes in. That one does hit the Scouts. Shotgun Blast will knock back the Howling Banshees, and the Tactical Marines coming in from the side, trying to do some damage to that Warlock. Here is some more support, some rotations from the other Space Marine players. And yeah, actually most of our players right now are in this particular lane of the map. Assault Marines will jump forward. They do manage to disrupt the Guardian Weapon Team. Those Assault Marines need some support. They need a heal from the Apothecary if he has one, which I don't think he does. So that means the Assault Marines do lose a model. They might lose more than that, but one squad of Banshees is retreating out of there. Double grenades going in. Some squads, no. More tactical Marine models are dying for it. Tech Marine will just have to retreat out of there, just finding himself getting caught in the firing arc of that Guardian weapon team. Howling Banshees looking to approach, but the Tactical Marines managed to draw the Howling Banshees into the firing arc of the Devastator Marine squad, which is well played. The Guardian weapon team will now look to try to suppress the Devastator Marines. If anything, the Tacs need to go around the side and see if they can actually... Okay, no. These two squads don't even have sight of each other, so they're not shooting at each other. Because I'm pretty sure they're just barely in range of each other. The two squads have identical range. So instead the play is going to come around from Sir Gunter. Does come around with the Dire Avengers. And just coming around with the Dire Avengers. Now he can just get back behind the shot blocker. Just do that. Yeah, just do that. And they don't even get suppressed. But here we go. We now have the Chainsword and Storm Shield out from one of our Space Marine players. Coming out of Jimbo Rustlez. A great answer to the Guardian weapon team heavy play that often characterizes Eldar. Unupgraded Dire Avengers right here. Ooh, Slasher has lost a single squad of Dire Avengers at some point. Assault Marines are now already into melee. They didn't even have to jump to get in there. This is a lost fight for Slasher. Like, he needs to get out. There's no way he wins this, and there's a decent chance that he loses the Farseer that if he continues to keep at this. Because we can see... Okay, the Howling Banshees might actually be turning things here, because the Shotgun Blast was used. The Howling Banshees are turning this. Howling Banshees are now super low. The Tacs can actually... They can do this. They can wipe... Can they wipe... Oh my god, that's actually such a huge loss. And eventually... So, the only thing that ends up forcing Mammoth off the field entirely is Sir Gunter coming in with his Howling Banshees. But that was a massive overextension by Slasher to try to commit the upgraded Banshees. I mean, the last model was the Exarch. And he was trying to count on the Exarch scaring off the Tactical Marines. But it wasn't a good choice in the end. All right, meanwhile, scouts saying they're under attack. It is now Dire Avengers against Howling Banshees alone. Nope. I mean, Dire Avengers and Howling Banshees there against the scouts. We do have pinning fire coming out of the Dark Reapers, suppressing the Apothecary, but not to much effect there. I mean, they get a little bit of damage on the Apothecary, but of course he can eventually use a heal on himself if he wants, and if he uses the heal on himself out of combat, then it's not such a waste. Meanwhile, flank from these Howling Banshees from Sir Gunter are doing quite well. I don't think they actually scored any model kills, but they did scare 3 Space Marine squads into retreating. So that is definitely a win for our Eldar players. Assault Marines jumping in, but our Banshees coming to intercept. Shotgun Blast will slow down the Banshees. Banshees looking to get back up. They are at about 60% of their health. This is not going well for the Banshees, and they will need to retreat. This particular fight is looking lost for the Eldar. Too many squads at about half of their health. Assault Marines jumping in yet again, catching another Guardian weapon team. Assault Marines looking to move out here, but they might get suppressed by the Guardian weapon team before they get out. They might start taking some damage. Heal comes in from the Apothecary just about in time. Assault Marines should be able to get unsuppressed soon enough, and then they can walk away from the Warlock. Warlock right now does not have any weapon upgrades, so he's not really a significant threat to the Assault Marines, but that's going to change somewhat soon when he does get that Witchblade of Kurnos. Meanwhile, back here, we've got some Eldar kind of behind enemy lines. A Falcon, this Falcon out of Slasher. He's got the double Dark Reapers. Double Dark Reapers is certainly an interesting one. It will absolutely melt the Power Army units, but it's not a particularly flexible build. And if our Space Marine players decide to start going for vehicle-heavy builds, particularly whoever is directly laning against him. This is Mammoth. So if Mammoth goes for a vehicle-heavy build, Slasher could struggle a bit against him. Mammoth going to be calling for help, though, because right now he doesn't have a vehicle at the moment. And as long as he doesn't have a vehicle, he's actually very, very much at the mercy of these double Dark Reapers that will just absolutely melt the tanks and the Assault Marines very, very quickly. So another full generator bash in favor of the Eldar, as they also maintain a double cap at this time. Shotgun Scout's a little bit too far forward. They're taking damage from the Dire Avengers. They're going to get wiped because whoever it is just not paying attention, and that will be the end of the Scouts from Jimbo Rustlez. Meanwhile, we're having some Stern Guard veterans here. I don't even think they're fully in cover. They're also not entirely being targeted by the Devastator Marines. Grenade attempts, I think, is going to be a little bit too late. Yeah, going to be too late. I see what he was looking for, but it was just too late. Tactical Marines, oh my god, Tactical Marines. Looks like they will not lose any models, because instead, the Stern Guard veterans, just kidding, the Dark Reapers that are here are going to focus on the Stern Guard veterans that are still in combat. And Dark Reapers will just get back inside the Falcon, as again, there's not enough to really threaten this Falcon at the moment. Dire Avengers going to be looking for more of a generator bash over here. Dark Reapers supporting them as well. So definitely a lot of Dark Reapers out of our Eldar players on this map. It's going to be the Tempest Barrage going out. Did hit a few scout models, did knock them down, but it didn't really seem like a particularly impactful Tempest Barrage. I mean, it does scare off the scouts here, but the scouts are never really an important part of that offensive, given that Howling Banshees aren't here. Just kidding. Now Howling Banshees are here, and now this means that MareeeSty can't really approach this. And They Shall Know No Fear wears off on the Stern Guard veterans. Melt-A-Bomb is put on the Wraith Lord, but is there much to follow it up? If it's only Stern Guard veterans, that's not enough. Again, we see Slasher with the double vehicle play, the Falcon into the Wraith Lord. Just an overwhelming amount of vehicle armor for Slasher for Mammoth to deal with. What has he been spending his resources on? I think he uses resources on the Stern Guard veterans. Otherwise, I don't know if maybe he's just reinforcing and has no resources for another unit, because I really wanted... Oh, he probably put down generators. Nope, it's Jimbo Rustlez who did it. I really wanted to see him get a vehicle. Jimbo Rustlez, meanwhile, man, he needs to get more units. Missile launcher attack to try to put more threat on these vehicles. I don't know if it'll be enough, though. There's another Tempest Barrage going in. We see Angels of Death cast a little bit late. Could have used that a little bit earlier to stop the knockback from the Tempest Barrage. This is absolutely still going to be a winning engagement, unless we can see if maybe they can finish off the Wraith Lord. Only one more missile. No, couldn't get another missile off, but oh my god, just look at the damage that is being put on those Stern Guard veterans and Tactical Marines. Again, like, Mammoth, he needs a vehicle. Oh my god, the same thing is happening to Jimbo Rustlez right here. Okay, he doesn't lose the Stern Guard veterans. I mean, this is triple Dark Reapers here. Because 2 for Slasher, and I think the other one is for Sir Gunter. And then when you have Dark Reapers, the fact that you're adding on some Dire Avengers on top of that, who aren't incredibly effective against Tactical Marines, but if you're adding any more damage on top of the Dark Reapers, that's just going to be absolutely brutal. I'm willing to bet. Does the Wraith Lord have an upgraded weapon? No. So this is looking pretty good for our Eldar players. So we've got a balanced debate in the middle of our faction war right here. We're going to see Melt-A-Bomb goes off on the Whirlwind. Can the missile attack? Missile attack does hit. Grenade going to go in on the Assault Marines, however. I think the Falcon goes down here. Falcon does go down. The And They Shall Know No Fear. No, it's not the And They Shall Know No Fear. It's That's actually the Chainsword and Storm Shield. That is Defend. Defend also not a bad answer to the Dark Reapers there. All right, Dark Reaper's taking more shots at the Force Commander. Grenade goes in, complete miss. P-Dev shot will go in. Oh, mostly hits the Force Commander. Does not even really connect with the Dark Reapers. That is pretty rough. We're going to see some kind of call in right here. What is it going to be? It's going to be a Venerable Dreadnought. Let's see if this can help them turn the tide. Venerable Dreadnought punch doing a lot of damage to that Guardian weapon team right there. Scout model will be killed by that Wraith Lord. Oh no, friendly P-Dev shots. Unfortunately, our Space Marine players have gotten P-Devs at the recommendation of our Eldar players. But I think it was all a bait by our Eldar players, trying to bait them into doing some friendly fire to their own units. Wraith Lord, I think only one more missile will take it down. But they're not in range for another missile. Oh, Dark Reapers once again doing quite a number on those tactical marines. Just absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. More Dark Reapers right here. Melts a gun on that tech marine. But he will also get suppressed by the pinning fire of the Dark Reapers. Howling Banshee is going to be in melee with the Venerable. Venerable will use Emperor's Fist. Victory points in the lead for our Eldar players. Bright Lance is targeting the Venerable, so it does have to be careful. And we have a Fire Prism that can target the Venerable at range. Big P-Dev shot does actually go in, though. Does connect on the Dire Avengers. Another one is going to be hitting the Fire Prism. Fire Prism is moving way far forward because it wants this kill on the Venerable. Only needs one more shot, too. That's it. Oh, but it has to trade its life for it. In the end, I think that is worth it. I think that is a trade in favor of the Eldar. Tempest Barrage will go in, and They Shall Know No Fear has been activated. As the Stern Guards try to get close. I don't know if this is working for them. Trying to switch to the Hellfire rounds, but they just take so much damage on that approach. Shotgun Scouts will knock over a bunch of Howling Banshees. Another Tempest Barrage going to go in, going to knock down the Tactical Marines as the Howling Banshees engage. That will be one squad attacks retreating. Apothecary does also get knocked over by the special attack and may very well go down in retreat. It's pretty likely, and there it is.
Additional units have become available, Commander. The enemy is claiming a victory point.
All right, Force Commander by himself right here. Unfortunately for him, you know, getting that Chainsword and Storm Shield very much commits him to being a support unit. He does not really do significant damage. That Chainsword and Storm Shield is 45.38 melee DPS, which is only marginally better than what he does right out of the gate. His starting Chainsword does 39 melee DPS, so it's an increase of 6, which really is not that big. This is not a damage build for the Force Commander. So victory point lead for our Eldar players. Looks like they're even going to just try to... They're definitely winning. Our Eldar players definitely winning. Looks like they're just going to try to speed up the process by going for a decap on the natural victory point of the Space Marines. So far, though, this is a winning fight for the Sternguard veterans until the Seer Council get into melee. What is going to be done about this Seer Council? Where are the shotgun scouts? Man, I think Jimbo Rustlez and MareeeSty, they don't have any, so it's only Mammoth. And that will actually be the concede, so that will be game number 2 in favor. Sorry, that's game number 3 in favor of the Eldar. They will lead our series 2-1. All right, game number 4 of our Best of Faction War series is, yes, going to take place on Sto Province again. This might as well be the Battle of Sto Province. We even have some people switching teams, apparently. We're going to have Slasher now going to the Space Marines, and he will be playing as the Tech Marine. Don't know why that was so hard. MareeeSty will be playing as the Force Commander, and Jimbo Rustlez also going to be on the Force Commander. Their opponents, our Eldar players. Floid will be playing as the Warp Spider Exarch. Sir Gunter the Kaiser will be playing as the Farseer. And finally, MammothMKII is now going to be on the side of the Eldar player. On the Eldar. Whatever. Alright, so this Warlock from Mammoth going to be moving over. Going to be looking for some scouts. Let's see what he can do with those scouts. He's going to throw in a Destructor on them. Does put a little bit of damage on them. Of course, those scouts, now they really can't afford to tank any damage at all against the Dire Avengers, so they're just straight up running out of there, which I think they kind of have to. Scouts have very limited combat utility at the moment, but they will try to fire on the Warlock, who at the moment can't really threaten them as long as he's capping. Of course, Dire Avengers are going to move up, so that means the scouts will move back because they know they really can't tank any damage whatsoever. Meanwhile, over here, we are going to see, it looks like a Dire Avenger model was killed. One lone Dire Avenger model killed right there. As we don't see much, this is not an action-packed beginning, as we can see at the moment. We do have MareeeSty as well as Slasher moving around together. They're going to find some Dire Avengers. Dire Avengers are in cover, but the Force Commander will try to get into melee, and this is looking like a 1 engagement. We do have flanking Howling Banshees, but Shotgun Blast from the Scouts is ready if needed, and it looks like it won't even be, as the Howling Banshees realize that it's not an engagement that they want. Warp Spider Exarch also realized that he's outnumbered, so we'll teleport behind the fence. These fences do offer yellow cover. Eventually, he's going to have to do another teleport away. Force Commander's going to get into melee with him, and there it is. Teleports into another set of cover. Howling Banshees. Oh, they tried for that flank anyway in the end, and it didn't even matter. They will not lose the whole squad, but they lost quite a few models, 3, 4 even. Meanwhile, up here, oh no, not a good start for Jimbo Rustlez, though. Going to lose that Force Commander. Luckily for him, it's not in a position that is too hard to get a revive, but at the moment, we do still have Mammoth just kind of holding his ground here, so he will be in a position to defend this spot, make it a little bit harder to get a revive. We do see the Tactical Marines looking for Force Melee, but we've got 2 squads of Dire Avengers here, and we could have a grenade possibility from this one squad. No, just kidding. There is the grenade. Does actually connect, so it actually does use it. One model will go down. This is actually still pretty much a winning fight for Mammoth at this time. I really like, he's trying to go for the Force Melee with the Tactical Marines. Okay, now actually, considering he's Force Meleeing with the Scouts, that actually makes it so that the other squad of Dire Avengers can't focus the Tactical Marines, so now it's actually a 1 engagement for this is Jimbo Rustlez. Dire Avengers now actually do just need to go, like, yeah, there we go. Alright, our Space Marines do have a double cap. We don't have any commanders that are very close at the moment to help Jimbo Rustlez with his commander, so it does look like the Force Commander from MareeeSty is being sent back, being retreated, so that he can then go over there, provide a revive for Jimbo Rustlez. Scouts kind of caught out by themselves. They will be scared off, and one model is killed in retreat. Mastercrafted Bolter does actually throw in the high-powered shot. Does not actually instantly take down a model as I thought it would. Though I think, you know, with the... I think it would if the Howling Banshees had no aspect. Once they do have an aspect, does, of course, increase their health a bit, so it does make them a little bit more resilient to that, or technically resistant. Resilient is not the correct word. All right, this engagement going pretty well. Oh my god! Not going that well anymore. Certainly not for our Space Marine players, at least. That is a full tac squad wipe. 3 models taken out to a grenade. Most of those Space Marine models just kind of gibbed right there. Rather unfortunate. Vengeance rounds going to be going in from the Devastator Marines. Tac squad is wiped. It's looking like, oh, this could be another grenade setup right here. Grenade setup goes in. Does still catch the Tactical Marines. One model was killed. Kind of lucky for them that it didn't full-on capture them. Those Assault Marines not so lucky, though. Grenade will go in on the Guardian Weapon team to unset it up, but this is still a 1 engagement right here for Floid. How are things going on the other sides, though? Tactical Marines having a better end of things on this side of the map. Instead of getting wiped, they're wiping a generator with their bolters. Devastator Marines going to see if they can set up to support to defend this position further. Tactical Marines continuing to put their fire on that power. And the Howling Banshees are coming in. The Devastator's a little bit slow to set up. I think just barely gets set up in time. And they go right into the grenade. What happened? That is actually a wipe on those Dire Avengers. Now, I mean, those Howling Banshees. They actually walked right into that grenade. All right, Jimbo Rustlez trying to hold this position, but I don't know if he can. Guardian Weapon team suppressing the Force Commander out of MareeeSty. Looks like MareeeSty, right, he was the one who lost the tac squad. We're seeing the flanks coming out here. I think Jimbo Rustlez might need to start retreating soon. He's going to actually see if he can continue to fight this. I think it's very questionable. He's being doubled. Yeah, no, he can't do this. He needs to retreat out of here before he loses entire squads. Grenade's going to go in on that Tactical Marine squad. Let's see how many models are taken down. Oh, no, that could be another wipe. All right, it's just 2 models. Like, normally 2 models is a huge pickup, but, I mean, with what we saw right there, 2 grenades going in, I think there was actually a very real possibility that it could have been the entire squad wiped if they were positioned just a little bit differently. Scout's going to move back, not going to continue a cap that they were working on. It's going to be a double cap for our Space Marine players again. Our Space Marine players suffering some losses, certainly model losses, a full squad for MareeeSty. Of course, there was the Dire Avenger squad that was wiped from Mammoth, but he has chosen to replace it. Tacs have been put out on the field for Slasher, drop pod tac squad. Assault Marines jump in, and now the Space Marines going to look to see what they can do as far as generator bashes. They do have double tacs as well as shotgun scouts. Shotgun scouts are infiltrated. They have enough energy that they can use a shotgun blast or a grenade out of infiltration. I think they might want to make it a shotgun blast. They'll use a shotgun blast on the Dire Avengers when I think they should have used it on the Howling Banshees, but it looks like the Howling Banshees will be overwhelmed anyway, even without it. And there's another squad of Howling Banshees. Oh, the Howling Banshees were actually hit by the high-powered shot. But now there are 2 more squads of Howling Banshees. One does get so low that it will need to retreat. The other one is still in here. But again, just being overwhelmed. Not really a true counter to the Howling Banshees, but just so much damage against them that they can't weather the storm. They don't have the health pool to work with that. And the Farseer will go down here. So this is looking like a generator bash for our Space Marine players. Some Eldar units trying to answer this, but the Dire Avengers suppressed by the high-powered shot. Assault Marines will have a jump soon if they want to slow down that Guardian Weapon team. Instead, they'll go for the Dire Avengers. That's an instant retreat on the Dire Avengers. Shotgun Scouts are outside of the range of the Guardian Weapon team, so they're not getting suppressed as they try to finish off this generator. But in the end, that wasn't actually a very good bash by the Space Marines. They didn't take a single generator. They took 2 generators down to about, what is that, 25%? Unfortunately, the functionality of generators is not impaired at all by having lower health. It doesn't matter whether they have 600 health or 6. They will continue to produce power at the same rate. Meanwhile, Howling Banshee's now potentially in trouble. There's certainly a lot of damage. There's going to be another squad of Stern Guard veterans, and I honestly kind of like that. There's a fresh tac squad that replaced the one that had gotten wiped by MareeeSty or had gotten wiped for MareeeSty, so they don't have a lot of experience that they're giving away by upgrading to Stern Guard veterans. And Stern Guard veterans also something that's going to be incredibly strong against these Howling Banshees. Because obviously with Banshees you have to control them. Well, we already see the Banshees are getting overwhelmed just by the sheer damage output of so many Tactical Marine squads. Stern Guard veterans are probably the best, certainly at least in Tier 2, in terms of a damage source against Howling Banshees. Oh, but this Force Commander Thunderhammer. Force Commander with the Thunderhammer. Gonna see if he can wipe that Dire Avenger squad, maybe? Only one model is left, but he will not be able to pick it up. But the Stern Guard veterans pick it up anyway. Stern Guard veterans once again proving their worth. Grenade will go in against the Stern Guard veterans. They dodge it completely. I think that was an overshoot by Sir Gunter, expecting that they might either stay in that position or try to back up. In fact, they don't. Stern Guard veterans need to get out of there. Grenade goes in. The Thunderhammer Force Commander is also really just doing a huge amount of work. A Spirit Stone's heal goes in to kind of save the Howling Banshees from losing too many more models, but this Thunderhammer Force Commander is making life so incredibly hard for the Howling Banshees, and this is especially true for Sir Gunter, who literally has an army that is, his army is literally half Howling Banshees. So, Farseer did go down at that time, though, trying to get that Spirit Stone's heal. Force Commander Thunderhammer, again, just doing so much work. As long as he has Battlecry, life is just so hard for the Howling Banshees. They do get some heals now. This heal actually coming from the Warlock with the Channeling Runes. All right, double Tactical Marines. This time, oh, no. Well, one of them is Stern Guardians. Technically Tactical Marines, but that will be the Warlock being forced off. Forgot for a second that these were Stern Guards because they actually have Kraken Bolts equipped rather than Hellfire rounds. The Kraken Bolts is actually a little questionable out of the Stern Guards. I'm pretty sure the Hellfire rounds are better against Commander armor anyway. Certainly better for killing a Commander once they're on retreat. All right, then. Merciless Strike will hit by the Assault Marines, knocking over these Howling Banshees. Man, the Howling Banshee heavy builds are not actually working out that well for our Eldar players in this game. We are going to see our first Dark Reaper squad of Game 4. It's in retreat, though, for Floid. We'll see if they choose to get any more, as obviously that was the big power play in the last game, all of those Dark Reapers. Autarch has been called in. The Autarch getting into melee with the Stern Guard veterans. The Autarch is not going to win this, though. And, oh, this is actually really bad. This could be a dead Autarch. She's going to try to jump out of there, and I think that will be enough to keep her alive. That was really, really close there. Getting the Autarch knocked down by that, and then if she's focus fired by the Stern Guard veterans in retreat, it's really rough for them. But that is a nice Ethereal Slash out of the Warlock, killing a bunch of scouts. I think that was 3 scouts killed by the Ethereal Slash and a single Stern Guard veteran model. Eventually, though, Stern Guard veterans and the Tactical Marines will be forced off by that close-range Guardian Weapon team. Grenade is thrown, but is a clean miss. Wraithlord is also out here for Mammoth. And the Wraithlord, no weapon upgrade for it yet. Okay, there we go. Right as I say it, he will be getting a Bright Lance, mostly as a way to try to chase down the Whirlwind. Assault Marines jumping in, but they will be getting focused down by the Dark Reapers. This game, the Dark Reapers a little bit more overwhelmed, although part of that does have to do with the fact that Floyd is actually just getting doubled. We do have Gunter trying to come in to support. I don't know how well this is going to work out, though. Double Howling Banshees is trying to give them a heal with the Autarch's leap into combat. But the Howling Banshees are already just far too low. One of them is actually, I think, going to get wiped here. It's super close, and one of them does, in fact, get wiped. Yeah, unfortunately for Sir Gunter, I don't know if that double Howling Banshee build was ever really working out that well. I mean, it is a thing, but it just seems it has absolutely been incredibly well countered. Stern Guard veterans in a lot of trouble, though. Yeah, I mean, the double Howling Banshees has been very well countered. It's definitely a Farseer specific thing. I also think it's something that's honestly probably a lot better in 1v1 than it is in team games. When you're running into an army where there are like 2 Stern Guard veterans and 2 regular tacs, it's just like overwhelming damage against the Howling Banshees. And certainly sometimes what high-level players say about team games is that they can kind of devolve into range spam. All right, Guardian Weapon Team will go down and retreat. Once again, the strength of... I mean, here it wasn't even just the Stern Guard veterans, but the Stern Guard veterans were definitely a big part of it. Dire Avenger Squad, I think, has enough health that it will make it out alive with that final model, that Warlock leader. Technically supposed to be an Exarch, but looks like a Warlock there. And actually won't make it out alive. So we're actually seeing how incredibly powerful those Stern Guard veterans are with the Hellfire rounds. Yeah, I mean, last game it was Dark Reapers OP. This game it's looking like Stern Guard veterans OP. And Howling Banshees not so OP. Anyway, the Wraith Lord's going in here. It's actually under a lot of threat. But in the end, the Autarch call in. Wow, the Wraith Lord is actually nearly dead. But the engagement is eventually won in favor of the Eldar, just in time to keep this Wraith Lord alive. Might be a kill on the Force Commander in retreat. I don't think so. Oh, it's still pretty close. They activate Fleet of Foot. They just might catch him. They do. Fleet of Foot. I'm pretty sure it was Fleet of Foot. They're going after the Whirlwind now. They can do this. This is a dead Whirlwind. I was not expecting that to happen. That's an important win. Venerable Dreadnought is out on the field for Slasher, though, and that is going to be super tough for our Eldar players to deal with, especially Floyd. Oh, man, Floyd's actually having a really, really rough time of it. He's not even... None of our Eldar players in Tier 3, in fact. Floyd's not there, but Floyd also has, like, no... He has, like, no resources. Can't even fully reinforce his Guardian Weapon Team, although that's not really a squad that you always need to fully reinforce. Okay, Tempest Barrage will go in. It does catch a few Assault Marine models. We're going to have a fully upgraded Autarch here, who will just get knocked back anyway, and knocked back again. So that Autarch currently getting very little done. Oh my god, just the chain knockback from all those merciless strikes. Finally, we're going to see the anti-grav field from the Farseer. I don't know how much this is achieving, though. I guess it does kind of set up for the... does kind of act as a nice setup against the Vanguards, but then they just jump out of there. Ooh, actually, maybe it did achieve things, as that one squad, that other squad of Assault Marines, I don't even remember if those were Assault Marines or Vanguard veterans, as they go down there. Autarch actually chasing after this squad of Vanguard veterans. Howling Banshees are in there as well. There's going to need to be a jump from these Vanguard veterans soon enough. And they'll actually just retreat. Oh, but they're going to lose 2 models in the process, I think. Maybe just 1. No, they lose 2. I swear they could have had a jump. Oh, and the tax lose. The Stern Guard veterans, rather, they also lose another 2 models. Our Space Marine players. I mean, certainly, this has mostly been their game, but we're starting to see a lot of models killed. Another cast of the anti-grav field, or is it the levitation field? Levitation field. And that also puts some of those Terminators in a pretty bad position. Terminators are now actually in a bit of trouble. I guess the question at this point is, do they have a teleport ready? And how soon will they have it if they don't? They finally use it, but 2 models go down right before they cast it. The Autarch's going to continue to chase, but by herself, she's really not enough. Yeah, and with the Venerable Dreadnought here, that's definitely stuffing out the Howling Banshee approaches. All right, meanwhile over here, oh, this Autarch also getting really low. And that is finally going to be a dead Wraith Lord. Oh, that's going to be a dead Autarch, maybe. And that will indeed be a dead Autarch. So, had a few nice wins by our Eldar players, taking out some models, but in the end, it does look like our Space Marine players winning just a little bit harder. Howling Banshees continuing to chase after the Tactical Marines, now going after the Shotgun Scouts. But in the end, it will be a concede, and it's another game in favor of the Space Marines. So we will be going to a 5th and final game here. Our 5th and final game will take place on Fortuna Sanctum. Our first player going to be Sir Gunter the Kaiser, playing as that Warlock. Floid on the Warp Spider Exarch. MareeeSty will be playing as the Farseer. Their opponents are Space Marine players. MammothMKII will be playing as the Apothecary. Slasher going to be playing as the Tech Marine. And finally, it's going to be Jimbo Rustlez playing as the Force Commander. So, we at least get a nice change of pace after 3 games of Sto Province. Certainly this map, it feels like a very big map, but we do see a lot of these middle areas have a lot of things in them. A lot of points of cover, tank traps, which are also indestructible. Or maybe not entirely indestructible, but not quite as easy to destroy. Not actually sure about that one. Either way, a lot of things. A lot of cover. All the things. Tactical Marines moving forward, they'll find themselves getting leapt into combat by the Warlock as they continue to try to approach the Dire Avengers. They're just trying to walk past the Warlock as the Warlock does not really do significant damage to them at the moment, and this is looking like a winning fight for Mammoth. He is supported, of course, by Slasher, and they will be picking up the natural victory point, actually, for the Eldar. All right, meanwhile down here, Scouts taking a little bit too much damage. So we had a 1 fight for the Space Marines on one side. It's looking like a 1 fight for the Eldar on the other. However, 1 squad of Dire Avengers taking a little bit too much damage from that Force Commander. Trying to just kite him away, but there needs to be some focus on him. Howling Banshees can also threaten the Force Commander a little bit. Battle Cry has been activated, but that just means that the focus is on the Howling Banshees. And Force Commander, no, he'll make it out alive, I think. Since Howling Banshees, they don't have Fleet of Foot to try to continue the chase. All right, meanwhile, we do have... Oh, that's going to be a dead Apothecary. Howling Banshee's certainly getting some value right now. But, of course, part of the reason we're seeing the Howling Banshees getting value right now is actually that there's actually so much range damage support. While the Howling Banshee's kind of drawing the aggro, we've got 4 squads of Dire Avengers just putting damage in at range. So it's basically a 2v2 on the left side of the map, while we got a 1v1 on this side of the map. Double Tactical Marines moving out for Jimbo Rustlez, trying to put some damage on those Howling Banshees. It's currently a 1-0 cap. Only our Eldar players have a cap. We're going to see Floid going for a pretty big build at the moment. Howling Banshee's going to be taking care of this generator. I think they already killed 1, and this is a replacement. They're trying to kill the replacement, and they will kill the replacement. It's going to be another replacement, but they can't stick around any longer. Otherwise, they will lose too many models, having already given up 2 there. So this Eldar player going to be Floid in full retreat here, as we do see the Rangers coming out for Floid. Again, big build for him coming out. Sir Gunter also going for some Rangers. Shotgun Blast comes in, and that will knock over the Howling Banshees. I don't think that this is an engagement that Sir Gunter is going to be able to win. He's going to put those Howling Banshees in there. He does get the War Shout, but I think at some point they're just going to be overwhelmed. Yeah, there's just too much damage against the Howling Banshees, especially when you're trying to put... Oh my god, they might even get wiped here. It's so close. I think the Assault Marines messed up. I think if the Assault Marines had actually gotten a few melee attacks in there, it would have been the end of that Howling Banshee squad. So, in the end, I think Sir Gunter is actually extremely lucky. Destructor goes in on the Assault Marines, does some minor damage. That ability isn't really super effective against power armor, but it's not terrible. I believe the damage type it does is grenade, similar to, you know, like actual grenades. And Tactical Marines are going to need to get out of there. I believe heal was already used by the Apothecary, so he doesn't have another one, so those Tactical Marines at risk of losing models if they stay in there much longer. Meanwhile, Farseer will be picking up the natural victory points for the Space Marines. No Space Marine players actually here to do much about this. Well, there is Jimmy Rustlez, or Jimbo Rustlez as he's called now, with the lone tack squad. They might actually prevent the Farseer from getting the full cap, but they do. The Farseer nevertheless gets the decap. Howling Banshee is also looking to move in, and Jimbo Rustlez is going to be moving out soon enough with a big enough army that he should be able to take his own natural victory point back for his team. I think we're going to see a fight back over here again. Yes, as he has the Chainsword and Storm Shield, though. So that's definitely going to reduce the effectiveness of the Guardian Weapon Team by quite a bit. A grenade will go in, does a massive amount of damage. That Guardian Weapon Team probably not going to get wiped, but it's a pretty close call. And I think that grenade alone is enough to give this engagement in favor of Jimbo Rustlez. Grenade completely misses. I mean, the Howling Banshees are here, but they're going to go straight into the firing arc of a devastating Marine squad. However, the grenade is undodged, and 2 Tactical Marine models will go down. It's still a win for Jimmy Rustlez, getting his natural victory point back for his team. Meanwhile, on this side, I was looking at one fight. It looked like I missed another, with a Tech Marine going down to 15 of his hit points. Warlock has an upgrade. He does have the Merciless Witchblade. Certainly going to make him do far more damage to those... well, basically just, to really just anything he gets into melee with, particularly the Tactical Marines, which otherwise he would not be threatening a whole lot. 65 melee DPS. I don't remember the exact value for his starting sword, but I'm pretty sure it's in the 30s. So it's definitely a significant increase here. Assault Marines trying to move forward. So are these scouts. Just kidding. I meant Tactical Marines trying to move forward. But I think they're just taking a lot of damage from the Warp Spider Exarch as well as the Rangers. Rangers even looking to find the scouts. They are hunting the scouts. They don't manage to pull off another shot as the scouts do get behind the line of sight blocker in the form of this wall. This wall can definitely be broken down, though, later on in the game. Would give a bit more of an advantage to those units that want those long lines of sight. Scouts trying to capture the point. Scouts might go down. The Warp Spider Exarch should be able to chase the scout. He'll finish it off with a melee attack with one of the coolest special attacks in the game. One of the coolest sync kills, that is. Howling Banshee's in melee with attacks, but attacks will get a heal, and the Assault Marines jump in to disrupt them as well. I don't think this is... Yeah, Sir Gunter, I think, loses this fight. Oh, we've got double Rangers out of Sir Gunter. Looks like they've already been in some fights, and they've been forced to retreat at some time. So this is going to be a little bit rougher for them. Oh, Warlock goes down there. So rough losses for Sir Gunter. Small armies for our Space Marine players, although in part of that is because Slasher did lose a scout squad. Meanwhile, big armies on the side of our Eldar players. This is not looking as good for the Eldar players as you might think. I mean, certainly they've got bigger armies, and for the time being, they should be winning engagements, should be inflicting bleed, but they're, especially Sir Gunter, his army is absolutely going to suffer a lot if his opponent puts a Razorback out on the field. And if he's up against the Dreadnought, he is, like, absolutely screwed. Since Sir Gunter's army lacks adaptability in terms of dealing with vehicles, honestly, even the army out of Floid, yes, he'll have the Bright Lance, but his army is already just so crowded. Whatever his next purchase is going to be, it's going to have to be something probably that can also put some threat on vehicles. Assault Marine's going to go down, though, I think. Howling Banshees chase. They do manage to complete their chase. That will be a dead squad of Assault Marines, which is a big win for the Eldar. Mammoth losing his Assault Marines. Howling Banshees just historically just great at killing on retreat. Autark call in. What a great Autark call in. If it wasn't for that Altar call-in, I think Jimmy Rustlez would stand a chance here. But because of the Altar call-in, he absolutely loses. Tactical Marines are called in right here and instantly retreated. I don't know. I often feel that if you call in a Tactical Marine with a drop pod and they have to instantly retreat, I think you didn't quite do it at the right time. Because ideally, you might want to use that call-in in a way that it actually helps you win the engagement. Take advantage of the fact that you can position the drop pod anywhere. Put it behind enemy lines. Put it in a position where it can disrupt a setup team. But, yeah, if you're retreating it off the field, you definitely did not get the full value out of the drop pod call-in. All right, Tactical Marines knocked back by the Kinetic Pulse. Shotgun Scouts moving forward just for a Shotgun Blast. Absolutely not worth it. Lose models, lost health, and they're off the field. And they don't have their Shotgun Blast if Howling Banshees approach. Assault Cannon Dreadnought. Yeah, Assault Cannon Dreadnought. I would honestly argue that our Space Marine players are favored at the moment because of their compositions. Our Eldar players do have the lead in victory points, though, so as long as they can try to play around these Dreadnoughts, especially if they can even just wait a bit. If they can just back off from, I think, the Dreadnoughts, not fight into them so much. Unfortunately, it looks like they are going to be fighting into them. Assault Cannon Barrage is going to be coming pretty soon. I would think this Dreadnought does not have an Assault Cannon, which also just makes it very, very good for dealing with the Howling Banshees. I think double Assault Cannons would be a little bit better, but this melee Dreadnought going to get value anyway, and that's a dead Howling Banshee squad for Sir Gunter. This has unfortunately not been Sir Gunter's game, I think. Oh, it's going to be another wipe. Okay, you know what? I don't know. The double Assault Cannon Dreadnought would still do absolute wonders, but I can't deny at the moment that Mammoth is getting a huge amount of value out of his melee Dreadnought. I absolutely can't. Yeah, this is really our... So I think our Eldar players are actually kind of punished for their tier 1 builds, going so ranger heavy, and also just going so tier 1 heavy, period. We know we've got triple Dreadnought out of our Space Marine players. This is absolutely the answer. This thing needs to walk away, though, from that. This is going to be a relay beacon. Some delicious relay bacon. And it's going to be instantly destroyed by the fire dragons. Not quite the right timing on that relay beacon. So it's only the I mean, basically for Floid and MareeeSty, they only have a single Brightland squad to answer the Dreadnought at all. As long as our Space Marine players can do something to scare off that Guardian Weapon team. They don't have... Well, actually, it is... Slasher does still have a squad of Assault Marines that can jump on them. Or if it's even a grenade from a squad of Scouts. Like, that by itself can just go a long way to saving... to just making sure the Space Marines win their engagements. I mean, of course, the Bright Lance does a lot of damage, but it's also just such a vulnerable unit. We need some repairs, though. So, Jimbo Rustlez, hopefully... Not Jimbo Rustlez, actually. That's going to be a Slasher. Hopefully he's got some Blessing of the MammothMKII, because I think all of the Dreadnoughts at this time could use some repairs. Of course, you can do manual repairs, but... Blessing of the MammothMKII, of course, just one of the big strengths of the Tech Marine. He's going to lose this. He might lose this Dreadnought. Or the Fire Dragon's going to be lost instead. Oh my god, oh my god. That is such a huge win for our Space Marine players. Okay. They lost the Dreadnought in the end. If they had... Like, I thought they were going to keep the Dreadnought alive there. If they had kept the Dreadnought alive, it would have been a massive, massive win. If there was a Melt-A-Bomb on these Assault Marines, they could have actually just straight up taken out the Falcon there. Unfortunately, not having the Melt-A-Bomb does mean the Falcon can just drive away. So a little bit unfortunate not to have that. Ooh, this infiltrated Guardian Weapon team. I don't think there's a whole lot that it achieves by staying out here. Like, it's... Yeah, it needs to just go, and... Actually, it could have stayed out on the field and just reinforced from the Falcon. Of course, there would be some models that wouldn't be at full health, but... I think it might have actually been worth it to just keep it out there. Would have certainly helped. If they had kept the the Bright Lance out. That would have been helped to destroy the relay beacon, because at the moment, oh, this Falcon now in a huge amount of trouble. This Falcon really has to be super careful against the double missile launch attacks. Assault Marine's going to jump in. Once again, they don't have a Melt-A-Bomb, and the Melt-A-Bomb would go... This is triple missile launcher attacks, and that's a dead Falcon. Yeah, I mean, in that case, they just kind of overwhelmed the Falcon there with just overwhelming damage, and that is the win in favor of the Space Marines. I kind of predicted that turnaround. I honestly wasn't surprised by it. I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless, and have a good night.